It's 11 p.m. and these are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, congratulates on his personal account Darash Shamsuddin Abdul Ali for winning and giving Algeria its first ever gold medal at the International Mathematical Olympiad held in Great Britain. Representing the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Prime Minister Nadil Al-Arabawi arrived to Ghana to participate in the 6th semi-annual meeting between the African Union, the regional economic communities and the regional mechanisms, which will be held in the capital, Accra. Ahead of the presidential elections of September 7th, the Independent National Electoral Authority issued a decree outlining the terms and procedures for media access and coverage of candidates. In Bajaya Province, drinking water supplying units are now operational in several municipalities. Details about these new water treatment plans later on. In addition to all these scandals in Morocco, an unprecedented water shortage in Casablanca comes to worsen the lives of Moroccans who struggle daily to find this vital resource. Welcome back, everyone. First of all, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, congratulated on his personal account Darash Shamsuddin Abdul Ali for winning and giving Algeria its first ever gold medal at the International Mathematical Olympiad held in Great Britain, and for obtaining his baccalaureate in 2024 with excellent honours. Congratulations. Representing the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Prime Minister Nadil Al-Arabawi arrived to Ghana to participate in the 6th semi-annual meeting between the African Union, the regional economic communities and the regional mechanisms, which will be held in the capital, Accra. This high-level meeting will focus on strengthening coordination and cooperation between the African Union, the regional economic communities and the regional mechanisms in various fields, with the aim of supporting efforts to maintain peace and security and accelerating the pace of development and economic integration at the continental level. In the capital of Ghana, Accra, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Security Abad Ahmed Attaf took the floor regarding the item related to activating the African Humanitarian Agency, as he stressed the necessity of establishing a purely African approach to address humanitarian issues. Let's have a listen.
The expected added value through the activation of the African Humanitarian Agency represents a purely African approach when it comes to handling the humanitarian issues, a coherent approach based on the African reality with the accelerated pace of the resurgence of the conflicts in our continent, an approach that reflects the solidarity and the interdependence values that founded the Pan-African project.
On the sidelines of the participation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abad Ahmed Attaf met with the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mohammed. The meeting was an opportunity to exchange views on developments in crisis and conflict zones, as well as other threats to peace and security in the African continent. It also provided an opportunity to discuss major issues and challenges related to political, economic and development stakes at the continental level. The two parties also tackled a number of topics related to upcoming events within the African Union and those between the African Union and its international partners. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abad Ahmed Attaf met on Saturday in Accra with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Expatriates of the Arab Republic of Egypt, a brotherly country, Badr Abdelati. The minister discussed with his Egyptian counterpart issues relating to the upcoming agendas at the African Union level, as well as ways to promote the privileged relations between the two countries by activating all the mechanisms to intensify political consultation and deepen economic partners, following the high directives of the presidents of both countries. Ahmed Attaf has also met with the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of Namibia, Pia Mushilyanga as they exchange views on several African issues, agreeing to continue bilateral coordination in support of just causes at continental and international levels and to make further efforts to promote bilateral relations. After submitting the candidacy files for the upcoming presidential elections of the 7th of September, the National Independent Authority for the Elections started immediately reviewing the subscription forms submitted. Yasin Hamdi.
In charge of reviewing the candidacy files, the National Independent Authority for the Elections will notify the candidates of its decision within 7 days.
After submitting the application, the NAIE has to send its response. In case of refusal, the candidates have 48 hours to submit an appeal, and the NAIE will respond within 24 hours before the Constitutional Court.
Those whom files were denied have the right to appeal before the Constitutional Court that will approve by decision the final list of the candidates, including the appeals.
Once it's done, the Constitutional Court will publish the final list in the official journal.
The candidates for the upcoming presidential elections were in a race against time to gather all the signature subscription forms.
The candidates have to gather 50,000 signatures through 29 provinces with more than 1,200 signatures in each province, or 600 signatures from the elected officials in 29 provinces.
The electoral campaign begins 23 days before the presidential elections and ends 3 days before the D-Day. Then comes the electoral silence and the ballot.
The Independent National Electoral Authority issued a decree outlining the terms and procedures for media access and coverage of candidates. Najah Tayyar with the decree.
The National Independent Authority for Elections has published the terms and conditions that allow access to the audiovisual media and media coverage of candidates for the presidential elections on September 7th, which apply to all the public and private audiovisual media under the Algerian law with legal authorization. Also, the other private audiovisual media whose programs are legally broadcast in Algeria, as well as audiovisual activists via internet. This ruling sets out conditions also for coverage of electronic press, as well as the announcement of candidacies via the social networks. The audiovisual media must ensure equitable access to all candidates, allowing direct and exclusive expression within the framework of public service missions. Interventions must also be distributed equitably in terms of time slots under the supervision of the National Independent Authority for Elections, of course, and in coordination with the National Independent Audiovisual Regulatory Authority. The audiovisual media are required to guarantee candidates or their representatives equitable participation in scheduled broadcasts, including fair and objective coverage of candidates' activities during the election campaign. The media are also called upon to respect a set of rules related to the principles of credibility and impartiality. They must verify the veracity of the information relayed to avoid the dissemination of false information and to refrain from any preferential treatment of candidates. The text also stresses that the media have to respect the privacy and the dignity of individuals, have to observe the principle of presumption of innocence also, while refraining from dissemination content inciting hatred, discrimination or violence, or discrediting the institutions of the state. The decree stipulates that the right of replying must be guaranteed within allotted deadlines in accordance with the provisions of the law governing the written and electronic press, as well as audiovisual activity. The National Independent Authority for Elections also stresses the necessity to respect the 3-day period of electoral silence preceding the polling day, and during this period the media must only cover the organizational aspects of the elections and inform citizens about voting procedures.
And the National Office of the National Organization of Algerian Journalists met today to examine a number of points relating to the shaping of a guide to the practice of ethics in journalistic work during the electoral process in accordance with the commitments and rules defined by the independent national body of elections. In addition to laws on media and laws on print media, the electronic press, audiovisual and professional ethics. Improving internet connection is the objective of the optical fiber deployment process, which affected several provinces of the country. The example in this edition is from Bni Abbas, which benefited from an optical fiber network that will provide a fast and more stable internet connection. Wani Al-Bahri.
The optical fiber deployment process continues in Bni Abbas province. A 160-kilometer network has been put in service, a beneficial initiative which has made it possible to boost internet speed for 2,800 inhabitants and facilitate access to digital services.
Thanks to the deployment of optical fiber, we now have a better internet connection. There is an improvement in the internet connection and fewer disruption. We now benefit from a high-speed connection.
Algérie telecom teams ensure periodic maintenance of their network. They are ready to intervene in case there is any breakdowns.
We are mobilized 24 hours a day to intervene in case there is any malfunction in order to allow the customers to benefit from a fast internet connection.
The town of Bni Abbas has been connected to fiber to the home network. The project will be extended to localities, municipalities, and qsur.
We have launched 10 projects for the commissioning of the optical fiber network. The underground cable works has been completed.
The deployment of the optical fiber network in Bni Abbas province will guarantee a faster and more stable internet connection, particularly in grey zones.
Moving on to another vital sector, as in Béjaïa province, drinking water supplying units are now operational in several municipalities. Details about these water treatment plants with Najat.
As a positive development in Béjaïa province, the Aiterzine water treatment plant at Tishihan Dam now will meet the expectations of the inhabitants with its production capacity of 50,000 cubic meters of drinking water per day.
We're delighted with this station becoming operational. It will solve the water storage problem and supply several regions in the province. This partial supply will relieve around 70% of the inhabitants of the Aiterzine municipality, and we hope to set up other stations in the rest of the municipalities.
This project comprises 2 dams with a capacity of 1,500 cubic meters each and 3 stations with a pumping capacity of 70,000 cubic meters per day. The station is also equipped with 4 chemicals preparation units for water treatment.
The workforce is 100% Algerian and the plant is 100% automated, including control of online works, notably storage and distribution. We supervise the commissioning of the water treatment plant, which will gradually supply drinking water to 6 municipalities in the south of Béjaïa: Aiterzine, Erel Ali, Boujelil, Eghram, Bni Malikash, and Tezmalt. The major project is part of the measures taken to guarantee the supply of drinking water to citizens in accordance with the instructions of the President of the Republic.
Designed to significantly improve the drinking water supply to the local residents and meet their needs for this vital resource, the Aiterzine water treatment plant is a major development project for Béjaïa province.
And Algeria strongly welcomed the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, which does justice to the Palestinian people by recognizing their legitimate and inalienable rights, assuring to carry on its efforts in the UNSC to uphold the rights of these valiant people. This historic step reminds the international community that the very essence of the conflict lies in the expansionist policies of the occupation, which are based on the annexation by force of the Palestinian territories alongside the construction of settlements without any limits or restrictions. This step also reveals that the objective behind these systematic violations is to ruin the Palestinian national project and eliminate the two-state solution enshrined and endorsed by international legality for more than 7 decades. Algeria, which warmly welcomes this victory for international justice for the Palestinian people, pledges to continue its efforts in the Security Council to enshrine the rights of this valiant people, to put an end to the Zionist aggression to which it is subjected, particularly in the Gaza Strip, and to enable it to establish its independent and sovereign state with Al-Quds as its capital and as just and lasting and definitive solution to the conflict and a precondition for the restoration of security and stability throughout the Middle East. And the toll of the Zionist genocidal aggression against the Gaza Strip has risen to no less than 38,000 martyrs and 89,000 wounded since the 7th of October 2023. The Palestinian Health Authority stated that the Zionist Army of Occupation has committed 4 massacres in the last 24 hours in the Gaza Strip, killing 37 people and wounding 54 others. The same source said that a number of Palestinian victims are still under the rubble and that the occupation forces are preventing ambulances and civil protection teams from providing aid. And in addition to all these scandals in Morocco, an unprecedented water shortage in Casablanca comes to worsen the lives of Moroccans who struggle daily to find this vital resource. Yasin Hamdi explains.
Just like other Moroccan cities, Casablanca is experiencing a water shortage, which caused the wrath of the inhabitants. According to the local authorities, it's a measure aiming to rationalize water consumption to face an alarming drought. But the inhabitants are living in terrible conditions. They have to stock water in bottles and jerrycans. The daily life became unbearable. In the rural regions, the Moroccans have to cross hard and dusty roads on donkeys under terrible hot temperatures to find this precious resource. This task reflects the seriousness of the water crisis in Morocco that turned access to water into a real struggle. Despite this shortage, the Moroccan forces used water cannons to oppress peaceful protests of doctors claiming their rights, while the inhabitants crossed kilometers to find this precious liquid. In addition to using water during the brutal repression, the Moroccan authorities prioritized the cultivation of fruits that exhaust the water resources, such as watermelon that requires 450 liters for a 10-kilogram fruit, or avocado that requires 4 times more water than 1 kilogram of orange and 10 times a kilogram of tomato. Today, the Makhzen uses 7,000 hectares for the avocado cultivation with a 40,000-ton yearly production, thus ignoring the concerns of the Moroccan people.
The companies in charge of the exports of agricultural products are the property of the Moroccan king and his close collaborators. The Spanish authorities refuse the marketing of Moroccan agricultural products that have been irrigated with wastewater.
The Makhzen keeps trying to justify this water shortage by the climatic change, but the Moroccans are convinced that it's the result of a terrible management of a failed system.
The National Committee for Cultural Properties approved the classification of Oran railway station and its integration in the list of cultural heritage. Oran railway station established in coordination with the National Railways Transport and introduced in the presence of representatives of the Culture and Arts Direction of Oran province came into operation in 1913. More details with Rania Bahri.
Oran railway station, located in the heart of Oran province, is the symbol of industrial architecture. It is the work of the famous architect Albert Balu, who opted for a new Moorish style, adding an unprecedented elegance to this building.
The Oran railway station is a masterpiece which was established in 1908. Its works continued until 1913 when the station was inaugurated and officially began to carry passengers and goods.
More than a century after beautiful and loyal service, the station has become one of the historical and cultural heritage of the country. Its importance is not only as a railway building, but also an essential destination for visitors and history lovers keen to discover the cultural richness of the country.
It is a station which was proposed for classification during the first half of the year 2024. The station has become a tourist attraction for all tourists. Oran Station is a symbol for the city of Oran. It is an architectural marvel. A special maintenance is required.
C'est une merveille architecturale. Il faut la bien maintenir, c'est-à-dire il faut une maintenance spéciale.
This station is very pretty. It's beautiful to visit. We have to take care of it.
These historic railways will remain one of the most distinguished architectural and tourist jewels that adorns the magnificent city of El Bahia.
That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.